Okay, so we've got our salt dough pretty much ready. Give us a little bit more light there. And so now we are ready to start making something with our dough. I'm going to adjust my light a little bit. There we go. Um, let's see, I'm going to show you a few things that I made already. Here are a few salt dough. I just call that, they could be wall hangings, they could be ornaments, they could hang in a window. I made all of these just with my hands and a pencil. They're starting to stick, so if your salt dough starts to stick to the surface that you're working on, you can take a spatula, just like you would with a cookie, and kind of detach them. But they're very fragile at first. I just want to show you some of the things that I've made. So all of these were made just with a pencil and just by pressing patterns. This one, they're still soft. You can see this is soft. So I'm gonna let these dry over a few days time. But this one I went outside and took some leaves off of a tree and I pressed it into the salt dough. Salt dough is really good for pressing things into. It's really fun to do too. And then later when we decorate them and add color to them after they've dried and have been baked, then you'll be able to see that design even more. So there's one. This one I just formed with my fingers and my hands into this like kind of moon shape. And then I actually had a ring that I pressed patterns. Here's the ring. I had this ring and I just decided to press patterns into the salt dough. All these little dots I made with just the end of a pencil. This one up here, you can see there's a leaf. I literally went outside, grabbed a leaf and pressed it into the salt dough here. So if you have permission to do that, that's something that you could do. All right, so let me show you just kind of how we get to that. I have my little ball of salt dough. I think I'm going to divide it in half and turn it into a little ball, and then I'm going to press it down. Okay, I'm going to get maybe a little bit closer for you guys. So once you press it down, then really you can do whatever you want with it. Let's see, I had a sharp pencil. Let's say if I wanted to make like this into a heart shape. Okay, I'm gonna focus a little bit. Here we go. If I wanted to make this into a heart shape, I might just take my pencil and kind of cut out a piece and then maybe cut some more here. I could, let's see, I'm kind of thinking I had that spatula. You know, if you had a knife that was not sharp, you know, something that you would just use at the dinner table, you could kind of do that. I'm just going to take my spatula. It's kind of like working with cookie dough, you know, how you might make a heart-shaped cookie. You can definitely use cookie cutters if you have any cookie cutters, if you want to use shapes. So there we go. I've got a little heart now. And then at this point, I could start thinking about how I would want to add decorations to that. If I want it to be hung up on a wall, how I would do that. So if I wanted to add a hole, like for hanging it, maybe I would add the hole here. I could just take a pencil and make a hole, just like that. Then if I wanted to add some decorations, maybe I could get a pencil. Ooh, look at this, check this out. If I took my marker and then I could maybe make little circles that go all the way around it. I could take that pencil, maybe put little dots on the inside of every circle. I could add little lines that go all the way across. Now I'm working pretty quickly because my salt dough was kind of dry. And at a certain point, I'm going to stop because my salt dough is going to get so dry that I won't be able to work with it anymore. And I'm just thinking of ways that I can decorate it. You can see that I'm pressing into the salt dough. And when this is done, when I'm done decorating it, what I would do is I would just leave it to dry. And again, you have to leave it to dry somewhere where kids and animals are not going to get into it. So that would be most likely in the kitchen. That's definitely something that you could ask an adult for help with. Okay? I think I just like all those little dots. So I'm just going to add more. Okay, so there's my heart. I'll show you the other ones that I made that were. Here's the one with the leaf. Okay. For some reason that salt dough came out much softer than this one. Let's see, what if I wanted to roll it? I could try rolling it. Maybe making a little. Now if I wanted to add these two together, I could take a little bit of that water and get it wet and try to connect it that way. Let's see. I could kind of squeeze at it. This is really just fun. Oh, I just made a little star. Look at that. Maybe I can. So see how I'm kind of experimenting with it and I'm kind of playing with the materials? That's what I want you to do. But don't worry about it being too complex or fancy. Remember, I have a ton more that I can work with. So maybe the first few might not be perfect, right? And that's okay. Think about what you could make and make a few different things. Some might come out much better than others. If I wanted to make this more of like a pointy star, I could go in with my pencil and I could cut away some of that salt dough like this. So you can do that as well. My mom used to make me salt dough because we didn't have Play-Doh. I don't remember why we didn't have Play-Doh. Sometimes I really don't remember why, but my mom would make salt dough so that I could play. And then sometimes she would add food coloring to it. And you can do that if you want. Again, with supervision. Okay. Okay, now I have a star. Look at that. Kind of started out not so great. And now I could just keep adding textures to that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I want you guys to start thinking about, like, what are you going to do? And think about making a lot of different things. Some of my students have already asked if they can make cups. Cups don't work so well with this because you can see it's pretty soft stuff. It's not like clay in that you cannot fill the cup with water. That's not going to work for this. So think maybe a little bit more simple. I'm going to poke a hole right there. Make sure you've looked at the examples. But I made that example PowerPoint of lots of different examples of salt dough. And you can copy any of them. You don't have to copy them, but you can if you want. And good luck. Don't forget to decorate. Decorate, you can decorate just with a pencil or with leaves or with anything. Here's my ring. You can add patterns and textures by just taking something and rolling it or pressing it into your salt dough. Okay, I hope you really enjoy this. Good luck. Keep it away from animals and pets. Do it in the kitchen.